Welcome back to our channel, folks. Now, let me tell you, I have been watching the latest developments unfold in our beloved town, and my goodness, it feels like we are standing right on the edge of a massive storm. As the old saying goes, you cannot make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. And right now, poor Charles is breaking hearts and building new families in ways I never saw coming. I was just sitting on my porch the other evening thinking about how unpredictable life can be. The biggest shocker that has completely thrown me for a loop is the sudden news about Spinelli and Maxie. Out of nowhere, it seems these two are packing up their lives and moving all the way to Australia. Yes, you heard that right. It is a monumental shift that leaves us all scratching our heads. Maxie has always been the heart and soul of so much drama here, and Spinelli is as much a part of the local furniture as the docks themselves. To see them fly away is truly the end of an era. But here is where the story truly tugs at the heartstrings. The real tragedy of this sudden departure to Australia is the devastating impact it is having on young James. Bless his heart, that sweet boy is now facing a future that is completely up in the air. When a mother and her partner move across the world, and a child is left caught in the crossfire of such a massive life change, it creates a void that is incredibly hard to fill. James is at that tender age where stability is as essential as the air he breathes. He needs roots, he needs a steady routine, and most importantly, he needs to feel entirely secure. With Maxie and Spinelli heading off to a different continent, James's future has suddenly become a massive problem. It breaks my old heart to see a child's life thrown into such chaos, and I can only imagine the tears and the profound confusion that poor boy must be experiencing. However, as sure as the sun rises in the east, when one door closes, another one opens. And this is where the story takes a turn that I find absolutely fascinating. Enter Cody Bell and Molly Lansing Davis. Now, if you had told me a year ago that these two would find themselves in each other's orbits, I might have said you were barking up the wrong tree. Cody has always been our rough around the edges cowboy, a man who seemed to wander through life looking for a place to hang his hat. And Molly is our fierce, intelligent woman who has faced her own mountains of heartbreak, especially when it comes to her deeply rooted desires to build a family. Yet fate has a funny way of weaving people together in the most unexpected times. Watching Cody and Molly interact lately is like watching a beautiful, unexpected garden bloom right in the middle of a dry desert. It is truly a magnificent sight to behold, seeing this new romance blossom before our very eyes. You know, folks around here often say that opposites attract. And in the case of Cody and Molly, they fit together like a hand in a custom-made leather glove. Cody brings this grounding, earthy calmness to Molly's fast-paced world. He reminds her to stop and smell the roses, to breathe in the fresh air, and to let go of the things she simply cannot control. In return, Molly gives Cody a profound sense of purpose, a sharp wit that keeps him constantly on his toes, and a love that is pure, honest, and unwavering. I have watched them share quiet, tender moments, and you can just see the genuine affection radiating from their eyes. They are becoming a united front, a true partnership built on mutual respect and a surprisingly deep emotional connection. Now, as Cody and Molly's relationship deepens, their path beautifully and tragically intersects with young James. Seeing the boy in such a state of emotional limbo, without the immediate, grounding presence of his mother, sparked something profound and undeniable in both of them. For Molly, the maternal instincts that she has harbored for so long, the deep, aching desire to hold a child and call him her own, suddenly found a clear focal point. She looked at James and did not just see a boy in need of a temporary fix. She saw a son. And Cody, a man who never quite knew what it meant to have a traditional, loving family to call his own, looked at James and saw a chance to be the steadfast father figure he always wished he had growing up. The decision they made next is one of the most beautiful, selfless things I have ever witnessed. They decided to step up to the plate and officially adopt James. I cannot even begin to describe the sheer emotional weight and pure joy of this adoption for Molly. If you have followed her long, often painful journey, you know the countless tears she has shed over her dreams of motherhood. To see her now embracing James with everything she has is like watching a true miracle unfold right in front of us. The joy that radiates from her is brighter than a 4th of July fireworks display lighting up the night sky. She is finally getting the child she has so desperately wanted, and the explosion of love within her is truly a magnificent sight to behold. Every time she looks at that boy, you can see 1,000 broken pieces of her past healing all at once. She is entirely devoted to making sure James feels loved, protected, and cherished every single day of his life. And let us certainly not forget about Cody in all of this. Oh my heavens, how this man has transformed before our eyes. He used to be a rolling stone, never staying in one place quite long enough to gather any moss. But adopting James and building this solid life with Molly has anchored him in the most beautiful, profound way possible. He is completely traded in his wandering, aimless ways for bedtime stories, school runs, and teaching a young boy how to be a good, honorable man in this world. Cody has discovered a deep well of patience and tenderness inside himself that I honestly do not think even he knew existed. He stands tall, a proud and fierce protector of his new family, and you can bet your bottom dollar that he would walk through fire to keep Molly and James safe from any harm. What makes this newly formed family unit even more solid and real is the stark realization that Spinelli and Maxie will absolutely not be returning to Port Charles anytime soon. The news has spread through the town like wildfire, confirming that their move to Australia is a long-term commitment. While it is certainly a bitter pill to swallow for those of us who will miss their vibrant energy, it is exactly the definitive, clear answer that Cody, Molly, and James needed to move forward. There is no looming shadow of a sudden return to disrupt the delicate, beautiful foundation they are building together. This confirmation acts as a permanent seal on their new life. Cody and Molly are James's parents now, in every sense of the word, and the entire community is beginning to rally around them, offering unwavering support. I just love picturing their daily lives now. It brings such a smile to my face. Imagine the cozy, quiet mornings in their home, the sweet smell of pancakes wafting through the kitchen, Molly laughing out loud at one of Cody's silly jokes while James sits at the table, his eyes bright and full of life once again. They have managed to create a true sanctuary, a safe place where the harshness of the outside world simply cannot hurt them. They go on fun weekend adventures, perhaps out to the local stables where Cody can proudly show James the ropes, while Molly watches from the fence with a heart so full it might just burst. It is the quintessential picture of a happy, modern American family finding their way. They have taken the broken pieces of a very difficult situation and carefully woven them into a stunning tapestry of pure love. But, my dear friends, if you have been around these parts as long as I have, you know that in Port Charles, a sunny sky is usually just the calm before a massive, unpredictable storm. Just when you think the waters are perfectly placid and safe, a tidal wave comes crashing in to change everything. And this brings me to the most shocking, heart-stopping twist that is currently whispering through the local grapevine. It is a rumor so massive, so unbelievable, that it threatens to shake the very foundation of this beautiful new family Cody and Molly have worked so hard to build. What if I told you that the ghosts of the past are not resting as peacefully as we all believed? We all remember the tragic, untimely death of Nathan West. He was a true hero, a beloved police officer, and most importantly, James's biological father. Now, hold on to your hats and brace yourselves, because the word on the street is that Nathan might actually be returning soon. Yes, you heard me correctly, clear as a bell. The possibility of Nathan West walking back into Port Charles, alive and well, is a bombshell of truly epic proportions. If this absolute miracle comes to pass, it will be the most earth-shattering shock this town has seen in decades. Imagine the sheer disbelief, the overwhelming tears, the absolute chaos that would ensue the moment he steps foot back in town. For years, we have mourned him, we have honored his memory, and now the idea that he could suddenly reappear is almost too much for the mind to comprehend. But while his return would undoubtedly be a joyous miracle for many who loved him, we have to pause and look at the devastating impact it would have on the lives of Cody, Molly, and little James. Think about the immense emotional collision this situation would cause. Here we have Cody and Molly, who have poured every single ounce of their souls into loving, protecting, and raising James. They have legally and emotionally bound themselves to this child, becoming his entire world and his true parents. And then, suddenly, out of the blue, the boy's biological father, a man who loved him fiercely and never would have chosen to leave him, returns from the dead. It is a scenario ripped straight from a classic tragedy. How in the world does Nathan react to finding his precious son being raised by another man? How does Molly, who has finally realized her lifelong dream of motherhood, cope with the terrifying, paralyzing threat of losing her child to a father who has every legal and moral right to claim him? The emotional tug of war that would inevitably ensue is enough to make a grown man cry just thinking about it. The resulting conflict would be agonizingly beautiful, incredibly tense, and deeply painful to watch unfold. Cody would find himself standing face to face with a literal ghost, a legendary hero of Port Charles, forced to defend his hard-earned role as a father to a boy who shares Nathan's blood. Molly would be completely torn between the empathetic joy of a good man returning to his life and the primal, fierce instinct of a mother desperately protecting her family unit. And poor little James, caught right in the middle of a love so fierce and overwhelming from all sides, would have to navigate a reality that no child should ever have to face. This impending shockwave proves that the story of this family is far from over. It is evolving, twisting, and turning in ways that keep us absolutely glued to the edge of our seats.